Every day that I wake up, I'm always giving thanks to my maker. No matter what the problem, we gon' make it. Cause we don't have no time for you haters. Cause he made us. We were born to be exceptional, no lesser than. Born to be exceptional, to make a better plan. Born to be exceptional, man, woman, and child. With Pauline Rosemore, don't touch that dial. We were born to be exceptional.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is my favorite part of the show, and you are listening to Pauline Rosemore, the Creative Activator, here at WPFW 89.3 FM. And with me in the studio, I have the one and the only Mr. Jubner Severe.
Good morning.
Did I say it right?
Yes, you did.
Yes. And so what we're going to do in a little short second, what was the song that you decided you wanted to hear? What was your song?
Double Double.
Double Double? Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Okay. So I'll have my husband look for that song, and he'll play it a little bit later. Double Double is a gospel Caribbean song, and I love that song. It's pretty hip. So if you've never heard it, look it up. But yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about this gentleman's creativity. And the best part of it is, he's brought some people with him, and he's brought his family. He has his beautiful wife here and his 3 beautiful children. And I want you guys, y'all can just go ahead and shout. Just go ahead. Hey! Yes, and so we have a full house this morning. And go ahead. I want you to tell the people who you are. But, go ahead and let us know who you are and tell us your background. Where are you from? We were just talking about Brooklyn, y'all. Brooklyn's in the house, guys. And he's going to talk about where he's from, how he even came to birth this book. I mean, you guys, you won't believe it. It's called No More Bars. Real interviews with African American men who have served time. That's dope, right? And on the cover, wow, it's so powerful. Where is that? Is that DC? That looks like a DC monument.
That's DC.
All right, that's
Skyline.
DC. That's a skyline. And there's some bars, and there's a gentleman behind bars, and there's a young man looking up to the sky. Now, there's a whole lot of poetic stuff just looking at the cover. But go ahead, please let us know who you are.
Yes, good morning, everybody. This is Jubner Severe. I'm just thankful to God for this opportunity to be interviewed by Pauline Rosemore. Thankful to God that my family's here with me. And so God, I never had a desire to write a book. Actually, my wife is the author of the family. And but in 2015, God laid it on my heart about the concern of black youth and even black men either being murdered on the streets by police and others, or being incarcerated. So I was driving actually with my wife one day in March of 2015, and God laid on my heart to go interview some guys who served time in prison and write a book about it, let them tell their story. And the whole purpose was to discourage others from going down the same road they went down.
No, that is really, really powerful. So you just said, I love how you just did that. He's like, look, my wife was the creative, and now you are. I want you to talk about you, okay? Mm-hmm. All right. And so I love it. I love that. I love that you're telling this story, but there's something very, very powerful in this. And there's somebody who's listening right now who needs to hear. Yes, and there's someone who needs to hear who you are and what you're about, okay? And so I'm looking at this, I'm like, wait a minute, okay? I'm gonna read this, y'all. So he says, all right, he says right here that he has had the privilege and the honor, right, to serve people in the state of Maryland for many years. He serves currently since 2011 as a men's small group leader at Zion Church in Maryland. He has been honored, to serve the youth by working in a number of special education schools and one public school in Maryland. I'm gonna help you out because I know sometimes people just like, I don't really want to talk about myself. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and promote you, okay? He has he has been a program assistant, transition coordinator, and teacher from 2000 to 2009. And the biggest blessing he could possibly have is being the husband of Cabrina Sevier. Okay, P31 series. Okay, and then the father to Legacy, Royal, and Jeremiah, and wait, senior pastor currently serving right now.
No,
that was before. Okay.
No, that's the pastor. He endorsed the book.
Okay,
he read it
all
and
right.
endorsed
So
it. Our pastor
okay,
at
so
Zion
we're gonna
Church.
shout out to Pastor Keith Battle over at Zion Church and chaplain of the Washington Wizards. Okay, author of A Second Chance, Grace for the Broken, and Why Men and Women Cheat. Ooh, side chickology. Oh, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go back to you though. All right, so no more bars. Tell me what happened here.
So actually, like I was saying, in 2015, I had this unction from God to go ahead and interview these guys and write this book. And when I started doing the research, I realized in New York Post had an article in 2015 where the article was called 1.5 Missing Black Men. And basically what they was talking about was how 1 out of 12 black men between the ages of 25 and 54 were either dead or incarcerated. That 600,000 of them were incarcerated at that time. And so I was like, wait a minute, that's a large percentage there, a large amount of guys, 1 out of 12. So then I looked at how they said 1 out of 60 non-black men were also incarcerated, 1 out of 60. Then I went to the Census Bureau site. 2010, they did a census, U.S. Census Bureau in 2010, and they said that black people made up 14% of America. So I'm like, how we make up 14% of America, but 1 out of 12 of black men are in prison? So that was a big concern. And I know some of that is the racism that's in the justice system, but this book is not even dealing about that. The main purpose of this book is to say that one bad decision could get us in jail. So these guys that I interviewed, they tell their story about what they did to get them in jail. And it wasn't about, they got me on a bad charge. They basically were honest to say, I did something wrong. And now that's why I went to prison. Now, here's my story. Don't make your own story, but live through my story so that you could prevent doing the same thing I did.
You guys, this is such a powerful, powerful, powerful narrative, and I thank you for the courage to tell their stories.
Thank God.
If you are listening for the first time, you are listening to WPFW 89.3 FM, and I'm your host, Pauline Rose Moore, and I have with me Mr., I'm gonna call him Pastor Jubner Sevier, and his beautiful family with me in the studio. And he is the author of No More Bars. And it's the stories of those who have been incarcerated. And so with a little bit of research, you just decided to just go ahead and go ye therefore.
Yes.
Right? And what's so interesting about this is because as creatives, because you guys know that this show's main purpose is to equip and empower, right? And if you are an author, you're thinking about it, or perhaps, you share this narrative of being someone who has been locked up before. You may be thinking, you know what, this is the end, I can't, there's nothing else I can possibly do. But there is power in the sharing of your testimony, and you just don't even know who might be listening.
Right.
And so I can tell you that this is very near and dear to my heart. I had the honor of being in a class. There's a program at Howard. It's called the Inside Out program. And we actually had a class at the DC jail. It was crazy. There's 15 of us from the outside, 15 from the inside. And so you have this fusion of those who are presently there and then those of us who may have been touched by it, okay? And so with my story, my mother was she was a crack cocaine addict. Both my parents were, and so they lost all their kids, back in the 80s, to that whole epidemic, and they lost all of us to foster care. And so that's why this is so powerful for me, and every single time I have somebody come back with a story, it's just like, wow, this is pretty, this is pretty deep. But also a reminder that, our stories aren't meant for us. And so when people are looking from the outside and they're thinking, oh man, this person has done this, they've done that, but they don't even understand what it took to get there.
Right.
And so the fact that you are, you haven't done any time, people are like, oh, well, why are you writing a book about, this if you ain't never even experienced this? Well, guess what? Somebody has to tell the story.
Right.
And that's what I love about the Bible, right? It's full of stories. And somebody had to tell the story of Jesus, coming, right? Mm-hmm. Otherwise, we'd never know.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So what you've done here, and I'm going to open this up, and here's what it says on the back. It says, the message in No More Bars is ready to prevent thousands of African-American boys and men from going to or returning to prison. Therefore, guess what? His plan is to donate a copy of this book to an urban library, school, church, group home, recreation center, prison detention center, or anything like that every time 2 books are purchased from this author, okay? Pastor Jubner Sevier. And you can actually get this at www.nomoorebars.com, okay? .org, excuse me. www.nomoorebars.org. And for those of you who may be challenged with the spelling, it's okay. www.nomoorebars.org. And so I want you guys to get this book because I believe it is it's what we need. I wish that tools like this existed when I was a kid because I'm sure that matter of fact, there should be curriculums, just having things just like this, just so, especially in our inner cities, you know what I mean, where they can have, people like you who are dedicated and committed to serving. It's clear that this was totally God ordained, because people just don't wake up and say, you know what, I think I'm gonna write about a book about those who are incarcerated. It's not even it.
Right.
And because this industry, guys, is millions of dollars in this industry. And so they're making money off the lives of those who are behind bars. Yeah. And so and it's so interesting because when I was at the prison, I had actually had a couple of guys. I walked in, we all had adjectival names. And what that means is my professor, one of them, Dr. Newhart, he's retired since from Howard School of Divinity, HU, to all of you HUs out there. And what he did was he shared with us that, in order for everybody to be the same, you have the adjective in front of your name. So there was no doctor, pastor, nothing. It was all, whatever word you pick. So I picked Persevering Pauline. That's what I was known at. But then at the end, the guys were like, nah, we not calling you that. We not calling you that. I said, okay, well, what are you going to call me? They're like, we calling you Power Pauline. And so if you think about the significance of somebody actually changing your name, right? I earned their respect. You see what I'm saying? And that is so powerful. So you got the story out. That means that you have earned some respect. And as a creative, it's important to get the respect. It's important to be liked because that's the only reason why people going to buy your book. If they like you and they respect you. You see what I'm saying? People think that there's a lot of stuff that goes into people buying books. Nah, if they don't like you, they're not going to buy your book. Okay. Right?
Right.
And so you got to be likable. I just went to this training on leadership at my church yesterday. Pastor Russell he's one of the biggest Seventh-day Adventist churches he's retired. He's now a speaker going around in the marketplace ministry. And I'll shout him out. It was so powerful because he said to us, he said, here are the things of a great leader. And if you are likable, right, he gave us a checklist of things that you need to have, right? And then he had another checklist of things that people who are respected but who are not likable, right? And when I'm looking at the list, I'm like, this is so powerful because I can't get you to do something if you're not liked. Like, if you don't like me, I can't get you to do anything.
Okay.
Now, if I respect you, guess what? I can get you to do something, right?
Right.
But then there's no loyalty. Because as soon as the respect is gone, I'm out.
Yeah.
And so one of the things he said, if he had the opportunity to get to the White House, and I believe, he's like, look, I'm a man of faith, and everything I prayed for has happened. And I can stand by that because everything that I've ever asked God for, God has blessed me with, right? Now, there are a couple of things right now, I'm like, Lord, just make this happen. It's 2018, 2019 now. I'm like, Lord, just make this happen. But I'm learning to, and kind of chill out and let God lead this thing. And so it's so important that you, as a leader, as a manservant, keep on, and like when you're in the out there and you're interviewing these men and you're sharing their stories, to remind these kids about, not just about, all right, yeah, if you do this, there are consequences, blah, 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 but the fact that your character is all you have, that's your brand. Your character is your brand. And so in order to make a difference in this world, if you look at President Obama, right, people love him. They respected him. So he was able to do what? Have so much influence. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, number 45, we got some issues, right? So when you see people, when they lose their respect for you, they jump ship. So everybody's quitting, right? Everybody's in this quitting game. And so this is a huge part of Black history. You have blessed us. Now, I know this is not the only gem, okay? This is not the only gem that you have.
Right.
This is not the only piece of creativity that you have. So tell us more about that.
Okay. Well, one of the things, I actually was interviewed by a gentleman this past weekend, and there's the book.
My husband's like, hold the book up. Okay, y'all see this book right here?
And actually, can I shout out the store that?
No, you can go shout out.
So it's John.
Long ain't no dollar signs. Go ahead.
John 316 Bookstore in Lanham. He interviewed me for a podcast this weekend, and one of the questions he asked me, Mark, from that store was, what's my background? Similar to what you was talking about. I've never been to prison, but what I do have is a past, and one of the things I had a problem with when I was growing up in elementary school was I was a bully. And so,
You were a bully?
I was a bully, and I used to fight almost every week. Oh. And, there was times where I would get suspended, and my parents didn't even know I was suspended. That was before they would call, they would call you right then and there and let you know your child's suspended. So I would leave out and act like I was going to school. And I took my lunch and everything, but I was on the street waiting to come back home when it was time to come home. But the point of it is, I was, most of the guys in prison today is not drugs. I mean, yes, there's a lot of guys in prison for drugs, but it's like violence, anger, so I was that kid. I was the angry guy. I even got left back in second grade because of that. But then I wanted to join a gang, but my father was so strict. My father was the disciplinary. My mom was the one that would hug up on you after he whipped you, even though she told him about what you did so he could whip you. So they were like good cop, bad cop. But so I didn't join the gang because I knew he would kill me. So so that's what kept me. Yeah, that's what kept me in line. And when I started interviewing these guys, I was like, that could have been me. Each time I hear their stories, it's like that could have been me.
If there's one thing, I battled going to class. I battled because it was like, yo, Pauline, this could be you. You could be here. Like this. I went to a graduation before my class started, and I heard this lady speak about how she got locked up 53 times. 53 times. Do you know the psychology that goes from, as a military person, in processing and out processing, right?
Right.
It's a psychology.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It affects the mind.
Yeah.
So to do that 53 times, on the front and the back. Listen, that's over 100 and something. Look, I don't even want to in-process nowhere.
Right.
I don't want no checklist. I don't want nobody taking my no contraband.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want you taking none of my stuff.
Yeah.
So just to hear that, and then to have this program show up at the prison, I'm telling you, it's so amazing, because she said this was the first time where she said, you know what? I'm getting out and I'm not coming back.
Wow. That's good.
And so I really believe that this is what it's going to take. It's going to take the telling of these stories. It's going to take the merging of the outside and the inside coming together. See, look, we're not that different.
Right.
See, the prison, you know, my class was ethics and politics. So we read read a lot of great books, and one of them is Just Mercy. And you got to read that book. It's really, really good. And that book, it really touched me, because it reminded me that prison used to be a place of healing, right? A place of rehabilitation. And now it's a place of, I'm going to get back at you. I'm going to punish you for what you did. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's the worst form of punishment, because you're isolated. And isolation, we know that, you know, the mind does some crazy stuff. You know, we were created to be connected and to be in community. So when I take you away from everything that you know and put you in a place where you don't know anybody, and you have all of these different personalities, you can actually develop, you know, another mental health issue because of that. Because it's just like people trying to figure out, like, you know, looking at us kids who are in foster care especially, trying to figure out, why are they so messed up? Well, think about it. If you take a dog, okay, because you know America loves dogs. If you take a dog and remove it from its natural home and put it with another family, what do you think is going to happen? The dog is going to go crazy, right? It's going to act out, because, you know, this is not my home. These are not my people. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially if they're not in a place where they're getting love.
Right. Yeah.
So, and that's really what it's all about. It's all about love and being loved and giving love, because we all have the same needs, right? We all, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you know, we have the same stuff. And I think it's so, so powerful. Man, I just love this. What time do we have, babe? Oh, he just told me I only got 3 minutes.
Can I say one thing?
Go, no, I have something else I need to ask you
go
before
ahead.
you get to that.
Okay, go
All
ahead.
right, so this is about you, okay? I have something that I call the failure-free zone, right? Because people don't want to do what it is that they're called to do, because they're afraid. So this is a failure-free zone where you get to share time when it was not so successful, because we see you now. I know it took a lot to get into this, right? But tell me a time, you know, to empower the people that, look, you know, I wasn't always a successful guy. I did make some mistakes, you know. Come on, got your kids here, humble time. Go ahead.
Well,
He's on the spot. Look.
I'm on the spot. There was a time where, actually, just to be just straight and open, I had a previous marriage before, and that's before I was saved. But yet, you know that marriage didn't go well because of my problems with the way I talked to my wife. So I was belittling her, and if she didn't do things my way, it was my way or the highway. And I actually verbally said that to her, my way or the highway. And so that marriage ended up in divorce. And but I still believed in the Institute of Marriage, and thank God he brought Cabrina into my life, and 3 children later. So we're thanking God for that. But similar to the gentleman in the book, you know, they've had failures in their life, but that doesn't mean that's the end of their life.
No, it's not.
And a lot of them has propelled from that, and they're using that even in their own ministries to reach back out to guys who,
I love it.
you know.
Go ahead,
And,
share
and,
what's your
and
point.
what I was going to share was prison and jail is a you know, even though slavery is abolished, but this is another way to get us
It's the
back
new-
right
the
into slavery.
New Jim Crow right
Yeah,
here.
because you lose your rights in prison. You don't have the right to remain silent. You don't have the right to, you know, just do what you want to do, get up and go where you want to go.
No.
They have to tell you when to go to bed, when to wake up, what to eat, you know, how to stand, where to walk, you know, when you can leave the facility. You got to get permission to do all that, all those things. So.
It sounds like basic training on steroids. You know,
Right,
really.
yeah.
I was like, man, I don't even know, because I don't even like to obey. Let's be real. I mean, because of the environment that I came from, I had a lot of, trust me, anger. My husband will tell you, I was really, really mean. You know, and I humble myself, because as I get informed, right? I'm pro self-care, self-work. Got to work on yourself. You can't, if you want to go higher, you have to grow higher. And so that takes time and it takes pain. Right now, I just started, I'll start this coming Tuesday, trauma therapy, because I realized, like, you know what, Pauline, you haven't dealt with some of the trauma that you had when you were a kid. And so that trauma has played a part. And the thing is, because I'm in clinical pastoral education, CPE, I got time to think. I'm in Pennsylvania, ain't nobody there, just me, right? And so I'm telling you guys, this has been such a crazy situation, because I'm like, Lord, how am I gonna deal with this? And get your behind back in the chair. Talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Deal with your stuff.
Yeah.
Because we can't do what it is, be the examples that we want to be the leaders, respected and liked. You know?
Yeah.
I'm liked, but I sure ain't been respected. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that's because of my own doing.
Yeah.
You know, I had a candid conversation with my 13-year-old last night, and he said, Mom, I don't like it when you say I'm going to do something and you don't follow through.
A child shall lead them, right?
A child shall lead them. But the fact that he was open and he wanted to talk to me, right, speaks volumes, because boys don't talk. See what I'm saying? But he says, Mama, if I could tell you anything. And I said, that's what I'm talking about. So we're at the end, y'all. And so I want you to go ahead, share with us, how do we get in touch with you, your Facebook, your Instagram,
Sure.
whatever you got going on.
No problem. So again, all those who want to get a copy of the book is at nomoorebars.org. I'm also reachable at Facebook under my name, Jubner Severe. I'm also on Instagram, boys with the Z, to men _, to _.
So that's BOYZ.
Z _ TOO _ MEN. That's actually a group I just started at.
Why didn't you just do at No More Bars?
Because actually I have a group at Westlake High School where I meet with guys, and it's called Boys to Men. So that's the connection for that.
Okay.
And the book is also available on Amazon. You can look it up through my name. So that's,
Okay.
email is jsevere70@gmail.com.
Okay, so here's the thing. Marketing 101. Your website is No More Bars.
Yes.
Everything you have
Should be No More Bars. Gotcha.
On top of that, your email needs to be No More Bars.
Gotcha.
Everything. Simple.
Make it easy
all right?
and simple.
Look, y'all just dropped some knowledge for y'all, okay? This is it. Up next, we have Double Double, and it's an African song. Caribbean, it's still Caribbean, y'all. You know, most of the Caribbean are from Africa. But this is, it's music. It's gonna fill your soul. And thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
All right.
Every day that I wake up, I'm always giving thanks to my maker. No matter what the problem, we gon' make it. Cause we don't have no time for you haters. Cause he made us. We were born to be exceptional, no lesser than. Born to be exceptional, to make a better plan. Born to be exceptional, man, woman, and child. With Pawnee Rosemore, don't touch that dial. We were born to be exceptional, no lesser than. Born to be exceptional, to make a better plan. Born to be exceptional, man, woman, and child. We gotta strive now to make God smile. Cause we were born to be